ये वीडियो में हम डिस्कस करते हैं चार्ट एप्लीकेशन का सिस्टम डिज़ाइन। इसमें हम डिस्कस करेंगे द कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ ए चार्ट एप्लीकेशन और उसमें फ़्लो कैसे वर्क करता है, इसमें कंपोनेंट्स क्या क्या रहता है, उसका डिज़ाइन फ़्लो क्या रहता है, और मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन पर्सपेक्टिव में इसमें क्या क्या, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल एंड्रॉयड, iOS, वटेवर प्लेटफॉर्म इट इज़, उसमें एवरेज यूजुअली क्या, उसमें बैकएंड सिस्टम क्या रहता है, उसमें सिक्योरिटी कैसे काम करता है, उसमें क्या क्या सर्विसेज इन्वॉल्व रहता है, और ये इसका बाकी सारे फंक्शनल नॉन फंक्शनल रिक्वायरमेंट क्या रहता है, ये सारी चीज़ें हम डिस्कस करेंगे इस वीडियो में। तो without further delay, let's get started. Not a single app, there are multiple chat applications are there, but architecture wise, architecture wise it also depends, we will be discussing the common architecture of a chart application. Means it depends upon the feature of app, application to application features will be vary, and so that is fine. But let's say we are creating a chart application, then what are the things we have to take care, and on an average what is important, so we have to check on that. So let me first point out what are the components will be involved in this. So first one is the Android or iOS or Flutter mobile app. Okay, this is the first one. The next is local database, then sync engine, FCM or APNs, monitoring and logging. So basically there are common 17 components are there which are being involved in a chat application. तो हम थोड़ा इसमें डिस्कस करते हैं. पहले तो बात है एंड्रॉइड एप्लीकेशन और iOS एप्लीकेशन और फ्लटर एप्लीकेशन, मतलब कोई भी प्लेटफॉर्म में हम एप्लीकेशन बना सकते हैं, वो तो दैट इज फर्स्ट थिंग. देन नेक्स्ट लोकल डेटाबेस हम बेसिकली इट इज रिक्वायर्ड बिकॉज while doing the chat communication we have to local database we have to use just to maintain that offline case. Okay, so यहाँ पे एंड्रॉइड का जो डेटाबेस रहेगा, iOS का डेटाबेस रहेगा, फ्लटर का डेटाबेस रहेगा, उसके हिसाब से जो लोकल डेटाबेस टेक्नोलॉजी है वो यहाँ पे यूज होगा. सिंक इंजन कहाँ पे हम यूज करते हैं, बेसिकली व्हेन ऑफलाइन, जैसे आप ऑफलाइन हो या फिर रिसीवर ऑफलाइन है तो हम मैसेज सेंड कर देंगे, बट मैसेज जब ऑनलाइन होगा उसको फिर सिंक करके कैसे उसको डिलीवर करना है, उसके लिए सिंक इंजन का वो सिंक इंजन विल डू दैट. ओके, देन एपीआई गेटवे एंड लोड बैलेंसर. बेसिकली लोड बैलेंसर का काम क्या रहेगा, देयर आर मल्टीपल सर्विसेज आर देयर. ओके, सो व्हेन वी आर स्टार्टिंग द कम्युनिकेशन, व्हेन वी आर इंस्टॉलिंग द एप्लीकेशन, द ऑथेंटिकेशन प्रोसेस विल बी देयर, चार्ट सर्विसेज, मैसेज, देयर आर मल्टीपल सर्विसेज विल बी देयर. सो when any message starts to send from the sender to receiver, so that has to be work with multiple servers. So that thing will be handled by the load balancer. Load balancer will distribute or it will distribute the request to the multiple services. So that is what the API gateway and load balancer will do. Then authentication service will do the authentication part. Chart service will do the chart communication. WebSocket gateway will is take care of the persistent communication between the sender and receiver. The message services will take care of the message caching and message sending part. Presence service means when the receiver is online and sender is online, so that online presence, how to show that, so that will take care of by this presence service. Okay, and notification service is also there because when you are not using the application, any messages is coming, and so that will be notified by the message notification service. Okay, media service is definitely it's required because it's not only text messages, we can send images, media files, videos and all, so that will take care by the media services. Redis cache will it will help the online presence part, and also there are some other mechanism also there for the Redis cache. Message queue is as per the naming convention, so it will handle the queue of the message, sequential message sending, that is handled by the message queue, right? Then message database is also important because it will keep the data in the database when and also when the offline case it will handle that part, and when online will be available it will keep the data and again sending to the receiver, or so that part will be managed by the message database. Object storage, there will be images and videos and all that will be there, so that will be handled by the object storage. Then FCM or APNs, basically these are the concepts for called Firebase notification and Apple notification, that will be handled by that is required to push notification. So that this technology depends upon the framework we are using, like Android, iOS or Flutter. Okay, and monitoring and logging, so that is required just to check we can so logging is the need to be implemented in the application, so that will be help us to track the flow, and if any failure will happen, that can be monitored and can be evaluated using the logging and all. So that is also important. So as per this, these are the 17 components which are basic in any chart application that we have to take care. Okay, this is the step number 1. Then we'll be discussing about the complete high level architecture diagram. Okay, so let's discuss about that. So let's create another section here. So here we'll be discussing about complete high level architecture diagram. Architecture diagram of chart application. ओके, सो हम अभी डायग्राम में डिस्कस करते हैं इसमें क्या क्या कंपोनेंट्स रहेगा, और हम इसमें चेक करते हैं अकॉर्डिंगली विल बी बेटर अंडरस्टैंड लाइक रिगार्डिंग द फ्लो. ओके, सो फर्स्ट क्या रहता है, हम एक इसमें स्टार्ट करते हैं. लेट मी क्रिएट ए सिंपल सर्कल लाइक दैट एंड विल बी ड्रॉइंग लाइक हियर. दिस इज लाइक मोबाइल चार्ट ऐप, सो इट्स ए एंड्रॉयड और iOS or Flutter application. This is the first thing. Okay, fine. Then next, this will communicate to the API gateway or load balancer using the help of HTTP or WebSocket. So यहाँ पे एक रो बनाते हैं ऐसा, जो कि what is this? It should be HTTPS or WebSocket. Okay, so using the help of HTTPS or WebSocket, we will be communicating to the API gateway or load balancer. So this will be a API gateway or load balancer. Fine. Okay, now when the request will come, like when the chart initiation happens, the request will come to this API gateway and load balancer. Then that will further will check for authentication service and user service and chart service. That part will be started. There are three common services, like one is authentication specific, another is user specific, and then chart specific. Three services will be initiated. So that will be we'll do some diagram here. The next, so here we will do this one. So first thing is authentication service, auth service. Then next is user service. Then chart service. Okay, so there are three things. It will from the load balancer, it will come to this simultaneously. Three services will be initiated, and it will check the request and response, and it will not response. It will check the request, and accordingly it will start processing. Then next is the next initiation will be for message service, message queue, and Redis cache. So next initiation will happen for after the auth services will be done. Now user service and chart service will initiate the message message service, message queue, and Redis cache. So let me diagram one here, block, and here so here basically message service will be initiated, message service, then message queue, and Redis cache. As per the naming convention, like message service will do the, this service will take care of the message communication part. Message queue means it will maintain the sequence of the messages, and so that the message should not be should be properly reached to the receiver as it is sent from the sender. And Redis cache will take care of the it will check the online status and all, so that will take care of the Redis cache. Now there are next part is the delivery service, notification service, and analytics service. Next we will see the delivery service. So this is a flow, like what are the things will initiate after what. Okay, that is important to understand how the flow happens, how the services initiates, which service initiates after what. Okay, so this is the thing need to understand. Now delivery service, then notification service, then next is analytics service. Okay, now next block will be, next level of service will be like it will be message DB, and basically this is a part of this, and it will be handled by now this particular level will be handled by the message service. And this, so this is the full diagram of architectural diagram of chat application, and where we can see that now this particular layer, that is this is the message service and message queue and Redis cache. This particular layer will be initiated from the user service and chat service, and message service will take care of the message sending initiation and plus message caching also, and the message queue will take care of the sequence of the messages, what is sent from the sender, that should be reached as it is to the receiver in the same sequence. And Redis cache will be responsible for the online presence, and that part, some additional things will be taken by Redis cache. And delivery service, now the next level of layer of services, that is delivery service, notification service, and analytics service. So when the message sending initiation start from the message service, then the delivery service will do the delivery, take care of the delivery service part, and notification service will take care of sending the notification, and analytics service will do the analytics part as per the naming convention. Now here there is some mechanism also used for notification, that is FCM or APNs for Apple notification and Android notification. So that is also for Flutter also FCM is also used, so that is also being notified here. And message DB, like because while sending the message also there is a caching need to be done in the server side, that is what the message DB will be taking care. Okay, so next part is we can see that using the WebSocket connection and offline user mobile device, like when the device is offline, and using the WebSocket connection will be using the media flow. Let's say we are sending images, videos, okay, so in that case this media flow layer will take care of that, like how it is from the mobile, then it will go to the media service, and then object storage should be there, like it will need a caching also, then CDN, then the mobile, it will reach to the receiver. So that is how it is using the media flow. Like this is also one layer, but it will use the upper services, but this is a instead of text images, if you are using the media, then this particular media service will take care of that thing. Okay, then next is mobile storage, mobile local storage. So definitely in case of offline, basically this particular things will be important. Then when the device is not having network or any reason the offline is there, so in that case it will use the local DB and to keep the messages.
and that will be later on when the device will be online, and it will use the sync engine, and it will again send it to the server. So this is the high level architectural diagram of chat application irrespective of any framework like Android, iOS or Flutter, and this part also cover the server side architecture as well. So this is the complete diagram. And okay, so let's also understand the the flow with respect to the mobile application, that also will be understanding. So now I am in this particular section where we'll be going through the mobile app design, completely what are the components need to be covered only in terms of mobile application. Here we'll be not going to the server part, we'll be just going through the mobile application part. Okay, so basically I have created and this particular section, and due to some issue in the recording, so I have not able to going through that. So now completely this diagram is now this is another recording where the where the diagram is already drawn, and I am explaining it again. Okay, so anyway, so this is particularly for mobile application, where so what are the components we have to understand. One is the presentation part. Presentation means that screens, a user has to open the chat application. There should be chat screen, conversation screen, and profile, group, or setting screen. So there are multiple screens there that we can consider as a presentation layer. Then the state management. So state management means so when the chat initiation happens, the user has to type the chat and click on send button to send it. So that is nothing but some event. So event has been happened. So when event happen, then the state will also getting changed. Earlier that state was not sent, so then again when the content, if any text is being sent, then the state will be getting changed. So that kind of thing will be handled by the state management. So state management means basically it will be, you can understand it's a change of data or change of state. So that is what state management. And state management can be it is there in every platform, whether it is Android, iOS or Flutter. So for Android, view model is being used to handle the state management. Then in Flutter, that is block or river pod, and in iOS, that is observable. So we have to consider as it. So this particular design is basically irrespective of any framework, so you have to understand like that. So first one is presentation layer, then state management layer, then the domain layer. Domain basically it is the use cases. So what are the use cases? Accordingly we have to go through that particular direction. Let's say we are using send message. Okay, so send message is a use case, receive message is a use case, and mark as read also a use case, loading messages or sync messages. So all these things are basically use cases. So accordingly we have to depending upon the use case, we have to redirect to that particular thing to the server. Now this domain layer will take care what exactly we need to do. That is will be decided in the domain layer. Now in the next we will be deciding again to which server need to be redirect. Now from here, but this is a and mobile specific, but from here we will be deciding where the requests need to be go. So accordingly the API call will happen, WebSocket connection will initiate. Also there is a possibility of local DB handling, because it's not always might be at that moment the device is offline. At that moment the DB handling will be there. So depending on the repository will take care, repository layer will take care of that part. And sync engine is also there, that is connected to repository, because in case of offline, sync engine will play a major role, because that will sync the data when the device will be online. So these are basically, this particular diagram is basically only specific to mobile application. I hope you understand this, and if you like this so far, if you feel it is informative, then please share to others and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so now we have got understanding about high level architecture and then mobile app design specific architecture. Now let's understand when the user send a message and it will reach to the user B, so what are the steps need to be follow. So that is also need to be understand. So here this is a completely specific to the message flow. So that particular diagram, let's understand. I think this is also important in terms of this particular topic. So whenever the user A types hello, okay, so that will first come to this section like mobile database. So that will have a cache at the same time in the mobile database. Then further it will go ahead and will use the WebSocket, because WebSocket will do the further service server communication. Okay, so it will come to the chat server or chat service to initiate the chat sending. Now the chat server or chat service will send it to the message service. So message service, that will be the part of server only, and message service will keep a reference here for that particular message in the message DB, and then it will send to the message queue. But because the messages has to be maintained the sequence as also, and also it will send it to the message queue, and then message queue will send it to the delivery service. So delivery service is another service that will take care of the sending part. Okay, then it will come to the connection manager. It will check the connection status and all with the receiver end, and accordingly it will use the WebSocket, and the WebSocket will send it to the user B. So this is a flow of message sending part. So that also is important. I think we need to understand that. Okay, so next we'll be going to some functional and non-functional requirement of the message application. So what is functional requirement and what is non-functional requirement? So this particular also I have created earlier because I have recorded that time while doing it, but due to some issues and that was not properly visible, then I am just showing it as it is, so to explain you. So basically the functional requirement are those which should be the customer will be used. Okay, so customer will need to be interact most of the things. So that is what the functional requirement. So usually a chat application need user management. User has to check the profile, change the photo or set anything in the profile. So that is what the user management. Then chat means the chat typing and media sending or photo sending or whatever, chat character text sending. So that is a part of chat. Message status means whether the message is delivered, whether the message is sent from you and not. So that kind of changes checks need to be take care by the message status. Then the real time features means you are typing that typing status, and when the user B or like user A is typing, that need to be visible to the other users. So that is what the real time features. And online status also, that is a part of real time features. Then media definitely not only chat, not only text, that chat application can send videos or images. That is part of this media requirement. Then notifications also need to be visible to the customer itself, so that customer can able to understand, like if any new messages, if anything it's a notification to the customer to something arrived, so any new message has came. So that kind of things can be handled by the notification. Then offline, definitely. So when user is not network is not available for any reason, that time also at least user can communicate with the application and send some messages, even if without knowing also customer has to type something that can be sent to the that application need to be accept that kind of scenario. So that is handled by the offline. Search means customer has to search, like user has to search that like which person need to send the messages. So that is part of search. Security will be there, so user has to know also what are the security things, security features the application has. So it is also important. So this is the functional requirement. So basically functional requirement are those which the user has to understand, user has to know about it. And then next is non-functional requirement, which are basically the creator part, like who is the owner of the application. So what are the things need to take care in the non-functional area? That is performance. So definitely when the application is being created, it's not for one or two users, it should be created, it might be created for more users, like 10,000, 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh, or kind of billion number of customers, users. So that the application need to be performant application need to be handle those kind of requests, so that need to be that need to take care using the performance category. Then scalability, definitely application need to be scalable. It should scale up to more number of users and without any issue, so that can be handled using the scalability category. Then availability, it should be like need to be available, I mean it's need to be easily can be like available, so that is what we have to take care using the availability. And reliability means it should be reliable, like it should be like user friendly, so that is that also need to be take care using the reliability. And security, definitely security is very important, like we have to take care of for the data profile, users data, and all these like technology need to be used in the server side or client side for security data transmission. That part of while the data is sending from the device A to device B, all these security features need to be take care in the channel, so that is also important. Data consistency is also important, because the sequence of data that user A is sending, that same sequence need to be delivered in the user B, so that is data consistency that need to be handled. Maintainability is also important, because when the any changes need to be happen, that need to be if maintainable, we have to follow the maintainability, that will ensure the for the long term the application can be evolved, and long term it can be changed, it can be evolved, so that is also important. Observability, definitely it need to be observe the application, and it need to be log analysis should be there, if any issues, error handlings, that need to be observed and that need to be rectified, and so that is using comes under observability. Compatibility is also there, it need to be designed for and different platforms like Android, iOS or Flutter, it need to be handle multiple devices, so that also need to be multiple versions, that need to be also take care using the compatibility. And disaster recovery is also there, if some any reason application server crashes, how to recover from that, that is also need to be handled in the disaster recovery part. So this is how this is all about the functional and non-functional requirement. And we have covered in this particular video that this is the high level architecture design of chat application, including the server implementation, mobile and server implementation. And then we have covered the mobile app design only specific to mobile. And then we have also covered like from the user A to user B, the message sending flow, that also we have covered. And then last we have also covered the functional and non-functional requirement. So I hope you like this video, and if you feel it is informative, please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll bring I will bring a new topic, and we will discuss in the next video. And till then, take care, bye bye.